So a lot of you are wondering how I pee in the suit. Just like that. Alright, hey everybody, here on Dead Zone Extras. I just got back from a special screening of Iron Man 2, and here's my little review and thoughts on that. First off, Whiplash's character was introduced fairly quick, and he pretty much, gets his suit and attacks Iron Man within probably like the first 17 minutes, which is no big deal. I don't have a problem with that. Just saying, throwing it out that he introduced was a little quick. Another thing, I feel that Stan Lee's cameo in this film, he was Larry King, which was pretty funny. Was not as good as his cameo in the first Iron Man, and definitely was not one of his better cameos, but it was still pretty cool to see Stan Lee. Another thing is the film seemed very, well, some parts it seemed fast-paced in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, I loved Iron Man 2, it was so awesome. I really enjoyed it and had a blast with it and a good time with it. Robert Downey Jr. did, very well and outstanding again as Tony Stark. Mickey Rourke did another excellent performance, even though he wasn't in it as much as I thought he would be or wanted him to be, but that's no big deal. Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer did a very good job as well. I enjoyed him in his film Munn, which he did a very good job in, and I enjoyed his character Justin Hammer. He brought it to life and did a very good job on it. Now this film was just as funny as the first one. You had your funny bits and pieces thrown in there, which is pretty cool, and it kind of keeps the film going and keeps the audience, laughing, and out of the suspenseful times, it kind of gives you a little quick moment of relief, which is humorous and cool. And I love how Tony Stark is able to bring that, and Robert Downey Jr. can bring Tony Stark's character to life in this film, which is pretty cool, and I enjoyed that. The wrestling scene between Jon Favreau's character Happy, which he was in it more than he was in the first one, his character and Scarlett Johansson, they have a little wrestling match, and it's pretty funny. I really enjoyed it and thought it was really cool, and hope that everybody else enjoys that just as much as I did. It was pretty funny. Rhodey, who was played by I forgot his name. Don Cheadle didn't do too bad of a job as Rhodey. It's just replacing Terrence Howard. It kind of just throws you off because it does that whenever you change characters and you replace them with different actors. It kind of throws it off and doesn't feel like the same character, which I felt, and this just didn't feel like Rhodey to me. I think that Don Cheadle did do a good job. I enjoyed it, and he wasn't in the film as much as I thought he was going to be. He's just in it at the the beginning, and when he first gets the suit, and then you see him at the end. So I mean, in the middle, they don't see too much of him, which is kind of, I guess, I don't know, not too bad though. Now the first fight between Tony Stark and why do I keep forgetting his name? Tony Stark and Rhodey. Wasn't too bad. It was I really liked it. The CGI in this film was pretty good too. I enjoyed it. But the last thing that happens between these two characters as they're fighting is they charge up their hands, like, put it down, don't put it, put yours down, don't do it, I'm gonna do it, and he just lets it go. But when they hit each other, kind of like Dragon Ball Z-ish, and then they blow up and stuff, and it's like, oh, whatever. It wasn't too bad, but it's just I didn't like that little effect, but it comes into play later on in the film in the infight. Now the party that Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark is having, because it's his birthday and he thinks it's his last, and he just parties it up in the Iron Man suit, which is pretty funny because you don't really see superheroes getting hammered and having fun with it and just partying, which is cool to see that from him. And then that's where the pee in the suit came from. That was pretty hysterical. It gave me a laugh. I thought that was pretty darn funny. I also love how whenever he comes to his senses and he starts working on the new project his dad left for him, which is neat because you get to see a little bit more on his dad, and he left a little surprise for him in this videotape, or video reel, which is pretty cool, and it kind of sparked his interest, and hey, I got to go a little bit further with this, and because he didn't have the technology back then, but Tony Stark does, his son, and so he starts working on his suit, and that's when he comes up with his new design and everything. And I thought it was pretty funny whenever the one of the Shield guys comes in to check on him, sees how he's doing, and he finds the Captain America shield, which is pretty neat because in the first one, the Captain America shield's introduced, but it's very quickly, and you know, but it was pretty good, and I enjoyed it. It's funny because he hands him the Captain America shield, and he's like, "What's this for?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I know what this is for." You know, you think he's gonna come up with something about Captain America. I'm designing it for this guy or something, and he grabs it and he puts it underneath something to level it out, which was pretty funny. He's like, "Oh, there he goes, I fixed it." The fight at the end between War Machine, Iron Man, and the drones was fairly quick. I enjoyed it though. The special effects were pretty neat, and Iron Man's last little defense thing that he had with the lasers, and it cut everything in half, which was pretty cool. And Rhodey's like, you know, why didn't you use that before? And Tony's like, oh, it was a one-time thing, but that was pretty cool, and I like seeing that. Then Whiplash comes in, and you know, the big suit, and he's got his, you know, weapons, and they go at it for, you know, really quick. And the fight was neat and really cool, and I liked the CGI and everything. I was hoping it would be longer than the first fight in the first movie, which it wasn't. The first fight was probably, with Ironmonger, was probably longer and more action involved, I guess. But I can't complain. I had a fun time throughout the film, so it was pretty good. Yeah, I just wish I could have seen a little bit more fighting at the end, you know, because you got all this suspense and build up, and you're just like, I gotta see it, and then all of a sudden it's just kind of like, eh. But it wasn't bad. I mean, I enjoyed it. So I mean, overall, Jon Favreau did a excellent job in this film. I loved Iron Man 2. I loved Happy, and you know, couldn't be happier. Definitely can't wait to see more from him. They, you know, introduced the Avengers Initiative a little bit more in S.H.I.E.L.D. with Nick Fury, you know, Samuel Jackson, who, by the way, did an excellent job and was awesome. I liked him as Nick Fury, and it was cool to see him in this film more, and get to see a little bit more of Nick Fury, which was neat. And you know, they talked a little bit more about the Avengers Initiative, which they didn't really introduce any new characters or anybody else, any more heroes, except for, you know, Scarlett Johansson. But that was about it, and I was hoping to see a little bit more, maybe a cameo. I actually heard way before they started filming Iron Man 2 that Edward Norton was going to make a cameo as, you know, Bruce Banner, but that didn't happen. And then if you stay tuned after the credits, you saw that they introduced Thor, but they didn't really introduce him. It was just his hammer, and it was a suspense build-up, and then a big thunderbolt and cut the black. But it was still pretty cool. You know, you got to see a little bit of Captain America and Thor in there, which I was kind of disappointed because when they announced that they had another Easter egg ending at the end of the credits, and they announced that it was Thor and Captain America, I was thinking that you'd actually get to see them together. Actually, since they already have them casted and they're filming on the movies for, you know, 2011 release, and I was really excited because I thought it'd be neat to see, you know, 2 or at least 3 of the heroes together. But it wasn't as I was expected. It's still pretty cool. The ending where they introduce Thor is not as surprising as when they introduced Nick Fury. He's like, I'm here to talk about the Avengers. That was pretty shocking and just jaw-dropping, just like, holy crap, you know, it's awesome. So the Easter egg definitely was not as good as the first one. Like I said, Jon Favreau did an excellent job in this film. I had a blast throughout it, but it didn't have the first Iron Man feel. I have to say and agree that the first Iron Man was totally better and a lot better, but Iron Man 2 is still a blast and a fun time, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you do, what was that? And if you guys do see it, please comment below, like this video, tell me your thoughts on it, and see you guys in the next review. I hope you guys found this review helpful, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.